Hohokus, New Jersey. Population 4,100. At the center of the town's attention for the last 220 years? No, not Greg Coleman, but rather the Hohokus Inn. So who do we interview for this project? Current owner of the Hohokus Inn, Lori Ham. The former owner of the Hohokus Inn, Chris Kelly. And the current father of Greg Coleman, Greg's dad, Corey Coleman. This is the Hohokus Inn.
What was the state of the inn when you purchased it?
I purchased the inn from Marcello, who's a restaurateur. He had a place in Suffern also, and it was still kind of keeping a historic bent, but it needed to be updated. So there was, all the rooms were original moldings. The furniture needed to be updated, but it was period specific, and it was decorated in the right colors. And the outside of the inn is almost exactly the way it is now. Because of the historic nature of the building, you can't change it, paint it whatever color you want, or do things to it. So the condition was the outside looks almost exactly the same as it did, and the inside it needed to be updated.
Yeah.
The bathrooms and stuff, but it was in good condition.
For the most
It was a
part.
working restaurant. It was very busy, and it did a great business.
Wait, are you saying like when it gets on like the registry of historic places, like you can't change the outside, or?
Correct. What happens is if you're designated an historical building, especially one owned by the town, because the town of Hohokus owns this building, you need to get specific permission to change any part of the structure or colors, layout or anything to do that.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I was just getting warmed by our authentic fire. There's two major points that Mr. Kelly made there that are very important. The first being that the inn is owned by the town, and the second being that the inn is on the National Registry of Historic Places. Both of these facts make the inn extremely hard to change on the outside, and allow the inn to keep its historic character decade through the decade, despite who the owner is.
And is any of this still original, or is it mostly a lot redone? And
Well, there was an original dwelling, more of a very, primitive wood structure that was here right before the Revolutionary War, and then it burnt down, and as most dwellings did, during that time, and then they constructed this. Main part of this building, as you see, without the tavern area. The second floor may have been a little bit different, but otherwise, I can actually show you downstairs one of the most earliest photographs that we have.
Yeah,
from
that'd be great.
The mid 1800s.
When you purchased it, how aware were you of the building's history and like how it relates to the town and the role it kind of played earlier in Hohokus' history?
My wife and I moved to Hohokus in '98. So when we moved in, there were two less restaurants. There was the Hohokus Inn and maybe one or two other places. So it was really the place to go. So everybody knows the inn. First of all, it's right in the middle of town. Yeah. But also it was a great place to go. It was close. The food was always good. It was a good meeting place. And basically, when you live in this town, you see pictures of the Hohokus Inn, you see historic pictures of the raceway, and you see all the things that were here. So just by living in a small town like Hohokus, you tend to understand and appreciate the history of the building. You have to see it every day.
Yeah.
And then, people talk about it. Oh, I remember years ago, especially some of the older people in town who've been here for generations will always tell you a story. Oh, I remember when we first got married in 1930 and we came here, this is what we did. So it was a lot of fun. So that the history of the inn is easy to find because there's a lot of people here who know it.
Yeah.
Who was there?
So then, do you think the de-fancying of the inn now has made it more accessible to all the people in Hohokus?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea when the Hams bought the inn was to make it more accommodating and more of a gathering place for everybody in town.
So, do you think that the inn does a better job of reflecting the town's history now compared to before, or is it still kind of comparable?
It's pretty much the same. The only difference now is that more people are able to come to the inn and enjoy it, and it reflects, you know, the history of way back when it was an actual inn.
Lesson number 2 comes from Mr. Coleman, telling us about the conscious effort from the Hams to make the inn less fancy and more accessible to the people of the town. This way people can enjoy the historic value that it has.
Older historic things like that. We did get things donated to us also that are a
And
little bit
that was
older.
from the residents of the town?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. As soon as we opened, we had asked the town, you know, to help us, you know, re-erect the inn and kind of be a part of it. So we did ask them if they wanted to donate memorabilia for
So,
it.
so then you would say like the building really does do a good job of representing the history of Hohokus in a sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it really encompasses everything?
Right.
Obviously, like building on the history, when you were actually running the inn and paintings on the inside, the design kind of thing, did that like have an effect? You wanted to definitely keep the history, correct? Or did you want to change anything? in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. We there were some historic items that are still there that the Hams kept. You know, display cases with old keys, all the old gold, the iron cast iron master keys that used to be keys to the rooms. Old prints of original menus and also drawings of the local area were all there. Plus, it was also decorated with, you know, it was the inn was built. The building was built in 1790, so there were certain pieces of art and decorations that depicted, you know, the turn of that century. So there was a lot of George Washington. There was a George Washington room. The Zabriskie room was named after the Zabriskis, who were local town people. So the inn in itself did have an historic feel to it, and it was decorated with lots of things that we kept there. And anything that we brought in, any kind of artwork or furniture, and also colors that we painted the rooms, were all old world.
To resemble,
We basically tried to keep the feel of the building.
Lesson number 3 that the Hams give us is that by allowing people, residents of Hohokus, to donate different artifacts that they felt would fit in with the inn, it allows there to be more historical value to the inn, and also to really show that Hohokus Inn has really brought together Hohokus and its residents for years and years and years, and will continue to do so.
The history of the Hohokus Inn is not just fun and games. Throughout its 2 centuries history, there have been periodic sightings of creatures. There have been odd occurrences that have happened. There have been glasses flipped over. There have been odd disturbances. And there's only one explanation. Damn it, explanation. We're gonna keep rolling. There's only one explanation possible. Ghosts.
In town who is a medium, and he came.
Is it Craig
Craig?
McManus?
Yes.
We
reached out to him.
Craig.
Okay. All right. So you guys have already interviewed Craig.
Well, we've spoken with him. I think
We've
we're
been in
interviewing him soon,
correspondence
yeah.
with Craig.
And did he tell you about what he did here?
It was like the Zabriskie slipped,
Seance
right?
or something?
The what?
Did he slip in the river? Or
Yeah.
or
Well,
something
yeah.
like that,
He-
right?
But that's in the history books.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he did. He was filming a pilot for a series that he was hoping would take off right when all those ghost story, shows were coming about, and he did a seance in that room, and it was pretty cool. I mean,
And you were there for that?
I thought it was really cool because it just he just happened to kind of know a lot of different things. One interesting thing is when he walked downstairs, there's a hallway that goes to the men's room. You make a left, and right across from the men's room on the other side, there's like this little pantry door, and we keep our linens in there. And he said he felt a lot of energy there, and he talked about a woman named Elsie, and he's like, there's this woman named Elsie that's talking to me, and she said that she takes care of the kids, or has taken care of the children here. and children walk, run up and down the staircase, but not that staircase, this staircase. And I was like, how did you
I
know
didn't figure that
that
out.
there's a staircase? Because guess what? Inside the pantry door on the left, it's plywood now.
Yeah.
There's a narrow staircase that goes up to the second floor.
Really?
And
pretty good.
I know that, but maybe he knew that too before, when it was Chris Kelly,
Yeah.
Chris and Nan Kelly, who owned the inn prior to us. But who knows? Like I said, there was, one of my managers, we usually have the glasses like this, and he made sure that all the tables were set for the next day's parties. And the next morning he came in and pretty much went like this,
And it
and
was just all like that.
all of them. Actually, no, he said they were on their side like this.
It's so
Oh,
bizarre.
so well, maybe they fell over.
all of them?
I feel like if I was a goat, I'd have more fun than knocking over glasses.
I mean, and who knows? I don't know if they were perfectly like
Yeah.
that. They could have been all in a disarray, or maybe some of them, but
Yeah, it's
We have experienced things in the upstairs. The way the inn is set up is that when you go upstairs, there was an office and the bathrooms, and there were 3 private rooms, and then another staircase up to the attic for storage. There were times where doors would move when we were there. If you were, in the place late at night, you would hear a door upstairs move, definitely, and you would see shadows come through the window. Now, again, am I making this up? No. Could I get an explanation? I don't know, but I like to think that there are some people watching over the inn, because they've always been there, and I think we have definitely experienced inexplicable things where something will be moved upstairs, or a door open or close.
Yeah, Mrs. Henry was telling us, like, with the glasses, they were turned over on their side one morning after they sent them up, right? So just weird things like that.
Exactly, and you could, not that you ever felt scared in the building.
Mm.
You always felt that there was just something more to it. You just felt that, you felt that it's been around for a long time, like it had its own life, like its own history.